Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Whitney Ward.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Mark Hanrahan. A narrow escape for a family in Coeur. A huge pine tree smashed through their living room. Their son was caught under the tree, but somehow survived with only scrapes. The family is grateful, but they're also angry. Yeah, they say the tree has been a concern of theirs for years, but that the city wouldn't let them remove it. Our Casey Decker talked to the family and the city tonight.
Well, guys, take a look for yourself at the extent of the damage to this house right now. I'm standing in the living room, and you can see that tree basically just wiped out this entire corner of the building. A little while ago, a tree removal service was able to get rid of it. And I also got word tonight that the family, with help from their insurance, was able to get into a rental tonight with power and heat. That, of course, is some much needed good news after a harrowing few days. For the Morse family, the night of the windstorm was a nerve-wracking one, even before anything happened.
There was an odd air in the house.
Worried about the tall tree outside, son Jacob moved out of his bedroom and into the living room.
He came out here on the couch because he couldn't sleep. He's up all night. He was scared. And he said, "Mom, that tree is going to kill somebody someday."
Then, not much later, exactly what they were afraid of happened.
Yeah, we actually heard it start to fall in, and I even said, "Oh, there it goes." And then it was moments later that we heard the crash and felt the house jump.
Mom Janine was flung out of her bed on the other side of the house. She rushed into the living room to the scariest sight imaginable.
All we saw was the roof, the house, and the tree on our son, crushing him. We couldn't see him at all.
Frantically removing debris, they saw Jacob's legs moving, but weren't sure if he was conscious or even alive.
I was convinced at the time that I was unburying my son to find him completely smashed.
But he was alive, and Dad Matt was eventually able to make room enough to pull him out.
And we heard him say, "I can breathe, I can barely breathe." So we knew he was alive, but his pillow was suffocating him.
Yeah.
He made it out with just scrapes. The entire experience was surreal.
I remember just waking up. I couldn't move. I seriously could not breathe. My face was completely smothered in the pillow. So much weight on my chest. And it's one thing to know yourself and know that you're in danger, but to be in danger and not be able to move a muscle or not be able to breathe or anything like that is just, it's so weird.
The family was, of course, beyond grateful for his safety, but they couldn't help but think back to all the times they'd worried about that tree before.
My dad actually used to take levelers and go outside and see how much more it was leaning and leaning every single year.
They'd gotten together with their neighbors years earlier and asked the city for permission to remove the tree, which is in the public right-of-way. They were told the tree was healthy and didn't require more than some pruning.
They were far more concerned with maintaining the life of this tree than the lives of the people around it.
Now, I spoke today with the city administrator and the city arborist. They told me that after the previous arborist judged that pine to be healthy, they didn't see on the record any evidence of a formal appeal to the Urban Forestry Committee. They also said the city generally tries not to remove healthy trees, and it's hard to predict, of course, such a powerful storm combined with such soggy ground. Now, the Morse family, of course, says no one ever informed them that there was any sort of appeals process. They were under the impression that the arborists say was final, and they're feeling tonight like their concerns just weren't taken seriously. Reporting in Coeur d'Alene tonight, Casey Decker, KREM 2 News.
We've also learned more than 100 trees that came down in Spokane city parks are going to be put to good use. City leaders told me today they're meeting with timber representatives next week to figure out how many of the trees can be sold. The goal is to use that money to help recoup the cost of cleanup, and then any timber that cannot be turned into lumber could still be donated to SNAP, which can then turn around and give it to people who need firewood to stay warm over the winter. Then any trees that were blocking roads and had to be cut into pieces to remove quickly, those can still be used for composting, ground cover, and landscaping to limit erosion. Overall, at least 250 trees went down across the city. It's still too early, though, to know cost estimates for damage or for repairs, but crews say it will be weeks, if not longer, before it can all be cleaned up.
Many inland North residents still without power, internet, or both. Today, Comcast released a statement saying the severe weather disrupted television, high-speed internet, and phone services for some of their customers throughout Spokane County. They said their technicians are fixing damages as quickly as possible. The statement reads in part, "We are well aware of how critical connectivity is right now, and we are working around the clock to restore services. It's important to remember, though, our teams cannot begin restoring services until after local utilities have restored power and authorized our crews to access infrastructure once it is safe to do so." Comcast also said they are working closely with the Vista to complete repairs as soon as possible.
It's down to about 39 degrees in the house. Our kitty's okay, but our puppy's a little cold.
Well, that is Spokane resident Bridget Freeman and her Chihuahua, Loda. Today, they took advantage of a Vista's drive-through phone charging event. Customers were able to charge up their devices, warm up, and get access to free Wi-Fi. It was held right there in the parking lot of Sacagawea Middle School on Spokane South Hill. Today's event was basically for anyone in the Spokane area who needed help while power is still being restored by a Vista crews.
It's not just the South Hill that's been affected by this. We've got customers out in the north side as well. But the South Hill was really, it probably has the longest restoration time just because of all the trees and rock and things like that that we're dealing with.
The city of Spokane will provide free disposal of trees and tree limb debris that came down during the windstorm. Tree debris from the storm can be placed in green yard waste carts for pickup on customers' normal garbage collection starting next week. Debris must be contained in the carts for the special service. Debris outside the carts will not be collected. Branches must be smaller than 3 inches in diameter and must fit within the cart. Free disposal also began at the Waste to Energy facility on Geiger Boulevard today. It's running through Saturday, January 30th.
So for all the people who have yard debris and cleanup to take care of this weekend, we want to check in now with Thomas Patrick to find out how the weather is going to cooperate as people are trying to get outside. Thomas?
Yeah, well, for one thing, it's not going to be windy this weekend. We got those calm winds to work with right now. Temperature-wise should also be fine, but on Sunday we might be dodging a few rain or snow showers, as you'll see in a moment. As for right now, 33 degrees in Spokane, already below the freezing mark in Coeur. Deer Park, you are the cool spot as of 6 o'clock at 26 degrees. Actually won't get a whole lot colder than it is now because the cloud cover is going to come roll in the overnight hours, so that's going to prevent the temperatures from really bottoming out overnight tonight. Chance for some morning fog in the morning, but cloudy for most of the day with those highs in the upper 30s, but at least the winds will be calm to kick off Saturday. We actually saw a few snow showers early on in the day today, but those are long gone. So our next chance is going to come on Sunday morning. Just at a glance, we're looking at a chance for some morning rain showers and snow showers. And the snow might actually be sticking for a few places in the inland northwest. So I'll detail who is going to see that snowfall for this weekend and potentially for the following weekend as well.
Sounds good, Thomas. We'll check back in with you later in the broadcast.